First contact and deception. The vast emptiness of space stretched before the 5 human vessels as they moved steadily through uncharted territory. Captain Morgan Shaw stood on the bridge of the HSS Intrepid, her eyes fixed on the main view screen where the stars blurred past. She was a veteran of Earth's Space Force, her 45 years marked by the quiet confidence that comes from facing the unknown and surviving. "Captain, we're detecting multiple large vessels approaching from Sector 7. Lieutenant Kira Jo reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "They're moving fast, much faster than our official specs suggest is possible." Shaw nodded, the ghost of a smile playing across her lips. "Right on schedule. Comms, prepare first contact protocols. Engineering, initiate Protocol Omega." Commander Dmitry Volkov, her second-in-command, stepped closer. "Are you sure about this strategy, Captain? We could be showing our hand too early." Earth intelligence was clear. Shaw replied quietly. "The Galactic Alliance has a history of absorbing primitive species through protection treaties that strip mine their worlds. We're not letting that happen to humanity." The 5 human ships maintained their modest pace as the alien vessels approached. Even from a distance, the difference was staggering. The 12 Alliance ships were massive constructions, gleaming with exotic metals and pulsing with energy fields visible even to the naked eye. Each one dwarfed the human vessels by at least 20 times. "They're hailing us, Captain," Zhao announced. On screen. The view screen flickered to reveal a being with iridescent scales and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. When it spoke, its mouth moved in unsettling asymmetry with the translated words. "Unknown vessels, you have entered Galactic Alliance territory. I am High Commander Vrax of the 7th Fleet. Identify yourselves immediately." Shaw stepped forward, straightening her simple blue uniform. "I am Captain Morgan Shaw of the Human Space Service vessel Intrepid. We represent Earth and humanity, seeking peaceful contact with other spacefaring civilizations." The alien commander's upper eyes narrowed while the lower pair blinked rapidly. "Earth. We have no record of this system or species. Our scans indicate extremely primitive technology. How did you manage interstellar travel with such basic equipment?" Shaw could hear the barely disguised contempt in the translator's rendering. "Perfect. We're relatively new to the stars, Commander. Only 50 years since our first interstellar flight. We're eager to learn from more advanced civilizations." Commander Vrax made a sound that the translator didn't catch, but Shaw recognized mockery when she heard it. "Indeed. Well, the Alliance welcomes all new species. Follow our escort to Outpost Zenith for proper diplomatic procedures. We'll begin evaluating your civilization's place in the galactic community." The transmission ended, and Shaw turned to her crew. "Opinions? They're not even trying to hide their contempt," Zhao said, scowling. "Good," Shaw replied. "Let them underestimate us. Chief Engineer Harper, are the modified hull plates functioning correctly?" A voice came through the comm system. "Yes, Captain. Our actual tech signatures are completely masked. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see: outdated fusion drives, primitive shielding, and basic weapon systems. Maintain the deception. All ships follow the Alliance vessels but keep formation protocols. Remember, we appear impressed but not intimidated." The human ships followed the massive Alliance vessels toward a distant structure that grew larger on their screens, a space station that resembled an enormous metallic snowflake, with dozens of docking arms extending from a central hub. The station easily dwarfed anything humans had publicly built in space. "Their station is powering up targeting systems," Lieutenant Kai Rodriguez reported from Tactical. "Multiple weapon locks on all our vessels. Standard procedure," Shaw said calmly. "We'd do the same. Maintain passive stance." As the ships docked at the station, Shaw selected a small delegation: Volkov, Zhao, and Dr. Maya Patel, their xenobiologist. Before leaving, she addressed the remaining bridge crew. "Remember, every system is running on reduced capacity. Let them scan, let them look, but maintain Protocol Omega until my signal. The delegation was met by a diverse group of aliens, at least 7 different species visible at first glance. Commander Vrax stood at the front, towering over the humans at nearly 3 meters tall. "Welcome to Outpost Zenith," Vrax said. "We rarely receive visitors from completely unknown regions, especially ones with such quaint technology." Sean noticed several of the aliens making gestures that seemed equivalent to smirking or chuckling. "Thank you for your hospitality," she replied. "We're honored to be the first humans to meet the Alliance." As they walked through the station's corridors, the aliens made little attempt to hide their dismissive attitude. Every section they passed through showcased either advanced technology or military capability. The message was clear: behold our power and superiority. The diplomatic chamber was an expansive room with a curved table and large viewports showing the starfield and docked ships. As they took their seats, one of the aliens, a being with crystalline growths protruding from its shoulders, spoke in a resonating voice. "How many vessels does your Earth possess? Surely not many if these 5 represent a diplomatic mission." "We brought what was necessary for peaceful contact," Shaw answered smoothly. Commander Vrax's 4 eyes seemed to gleam. "The Galactic Alliance consists of 27 species across 500 worlds. Our combined fleet numbers in the thousands." "Impressive," Shaw said with practiced admiration. "Yes," Vrax replied, "and we are very interested in studying your technology, primitive though it may be. We should arrange tours of your vessels." Dr. Patel caught Shaw's eye with a subtle warning look. "We would be happy to exchange tours," Shaw said. "Both of our ships and this magnificent station." "Excellent," Commander Vrax said with an unsettling approximation of a smile. "We shall begin immediately. I'm sure it won't take long to see everything your small fleet has to offer." Later, during a reception in the station's Grand Hall, the human delegation stood among dozens of alien species. Many were much larger than humans, with some reaching nearly 4 meters in height. Dr. Patel carefully observed as different representatives studied the humans with poorly hidden amusement. "Notice how they keep us in the center," she whispered to Shaw. "We're being displayed like curiosities." Shaw nodded slightly. "Let them look." A group of tall, translucent aliens approached. One held up a device and pointed it at Zhao's uniform badge. "Such simple communication devices," the alien said in a high-pitched voice. "Do they even function beyond short range?" Zhao smiled politely. "They serve our needs." "Of course they do," the alien replied with a sound like crystal chimes, just as a child's first painting serves its need for expression. Across the room, Commander Volkov was having a similar experience with a reptilian alien examining his sidearm. "Is this truly a weapon?" the alien asked, blinking vertical eyelids. "It seems more like a tool for making loud noises." Commander Vrax approached Shaw with a regal-looking alien whose skin appeared metallic and flowing. "Captain, this is Supreme Counselor Zeth of the Helix Dominion," Vrax said. "The Counselor oversees the integration of new species into our alliance." The metallic alien's face formed what might have been a condescending smile. "So these are humans, smaller than I expected." Shaw extended her hand, then caught herself. "We come in peace and friendship, Counselor." "Yes, yes. All new species say the same," Zeth waved dismissively. "Tell me, how many worlds has your kind settled?" "1? 2 perhaps. We have colonies on Mars and Europa in our home system, and research outposts in 2 nearby systems," Shaw answered. The alien made a sound like grinding metal. "Charming. The Helix alone controls 63 systems. The Alliance as a whole spans nearly a third of the galaxy." "Impressive," Shaw said. "We hope to learn from your experience." "Indeed you shall," Commander Vrax cut in. "In fact, we've already prepared a proposal for Earth to become a protected territory under Alliance guidance." Shaw raised an eyebrow. "Protected territory? We haven't even discussed formal relations yet." The counselor's metallic face rippled. It's our standard approach with developing species. We provide technology, defense, and guidance in exchange for certain resource rights and access to your unique biological diversity. I see, Shaw said carefully. That's certainly something we would need to discuss with our government. Of course, Vrax said. I believe we arranged for a tour of your vessels. Shaw nodded. Commander Volkov will escort you. As Volkov led Vrax and several other aliens toward the docking bay, Lieutenant Zhao approached Shaw with a concerned look. Captain, I need to speak with you privately, she said quietly. They moved to a corner of the hall. Zhou's voice was barely above a whisper. I've been monitoring their internal communications with my translator implant. They're discussing Earth as a resource-rich acquisition and debating how quickly they can establish a guidance council to oversee our planet. They moved to a corner of the hall. Zhou's voice was barely above a whisper. I've been monitoring their internal communications with my translator implant. They're discussing Earth as a resource-rich acquisition and debating how quickly they can establish a guidance council to oversee our planet. Shaw frowned. Are you certain? Positive, Zhao replied. They're particularly interested in our planetary water reserves and something they call our unusual mineral compositions. They also mentioned studying our crude but interesting propulsion technology. Keep listening, Shaw instructed, and tell Volkov to stay alert during the tour. Let's see just how far they're willing to go with this protection scheme. Back on the HS Intrepid, Commander Volkov was showing Commander Vrax and 3 other aliens through the ship's corridors. He deliberately took them through the older, more basic sections of the ship. This is our main propulsion control, Volkov explained, showing them a room with simple-looking control panels and displays. Vrax touched one of the screens with obvious contempt. How do you manage interstellar travel with such basic systems? We're still learning, Volkov said humbly. One of the other aliens, a being with multiple tentacles, made a gurgling sound and said something to Vrax in their own language. Volkov pretended not to notice the translator device, hidden in his uniform badge, picking up every word. Yes, their containment field technology is surprisingly inefficient, Vrax replied. But their world appears to have abundant H3O and rare earth elements. The Alliance Mining Guild will be pleased. I believe they are scanning our asteroid belt as we speak, the tentacled alien added. Preliminary reports suggest significant quantities of iridium and platinum group metals. Excellent, Vrax said. The guidance treaty will be most beneficial to the Alliance. The revelation and turnaround. Commander Volkov maintained his pleasant facade as he continued the tour, allowing the aliens to openly mock human technology. Meanwhile, Captain Shaw was being escorted through the massive Alliance station by Supreme Counselor Zeth. This is our central command center, the metallic alien explained as they entered a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and bustling with different species. From here, we coordinate the activities of over 300 outposts and monitor all vessels in Alliance space. Shaw nodded appreciatively. Very impressive. Our space command centers aren't nearly this sophisticated. Of course not, Zeth said with barely concealed smugness. But under our guidance, your species could eventually develop something adequate. Shaw's communicator chimed softly. She checked it and found a simple message from Zhao. CONFIR. Counselor, Shaw said, I need to contact my ship regarding a matter of protocol. Would you excuse me for a moment? The alien waved a metallic hand dismissively. Certainly. Your primitive communication needs are understood. Shaw stepped aside and activated her communicator. Shaw to all ships. Execute Protocol Omega. Phase 2. As she rejoined the counselor, a flurry of activity erupted in the command center. Alarms began sounding, and officers rushed to their stations. What's happening? Zeth demanded of a nearby officer. Supreme Counselor, we're detecting massive energy spikes from the human vessels, the officer replied, confusion evident in their voice. Their power signatures have changed completely. Zeth turned to Shaw, metallic face contracting in suspicion. "What is the meaning of this?" Shaw smiled calmly. "It appears our systems are recalibrating. Nothing to be concerned about." On the main view screen, the 5 human ships were undergoing a remarkable transformation. The dull, primitive hulls were rippling as advanced nanotechnology deactivated the camouflage layers, revealing gleaming hulls with pulsing energy conduits. Weapon ports were opening along previously smooth surfaces, and sophisticated shield emitters activated, surrounding each vessel in a subtle but clearly advanced energy field. "Impossible," Zeth whispered. "Your vessels were not what they appeared to be." Shaw finished for him. "We've learned it's wise to be cautious when meeting new civilizations, especially those with a history of protecting less advanced species into subservience." Commander Vrax burst into the command center, his scales flushed with an agitated hue. "The humans have deceived us. Their ship just transformed before our eyes. Their technology is far more advanced than they led us to believe." Shaw's communicator activated. "Captain, this is the Intrepid. We're receiving a transmission from Admiral Chen. The rest of the fleet has arrived. Put it through to the station's main screen," Shaw ordered. The view screen changed to show a stern-faced human woman in a formal military uniform. Behind her, visible through the bridge viewports, was a formation of ships that stretched into the distance. Not 5 ships, but hundreds, ranging from vessels comparable to the Alliance's largest to specialized craft unlike anything in their fleet. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. I trust our diplomatic team has been treated with appropriate respect." The command center fell silent as the implications became clear. Zeth turned to Shaw, metallic face now rigid with shock. "You deliberately misled us about your capabilities. We presented ourselves as we thought we would be received," Shaw replied. "Our intelligence suggested that the Alliance tends to categorize new species as either threats to be neutralized or resources to be exploited. We chose a third option, to appear harmless while assessing your intentions." "How dare you?" Commander Vrax bristled. "The Alliance is a peaceful coalition." "Is it?" Shaw asked calmly. "Lieutenant Zhao, please share what you've recorded from the Alliance's internal communications." Zhao stepped forward and activated a device. The voices of Vrax, Zeth, and several other Alliance officials filled the command center, discussing Earth's resource-rich status and plans for establishing guidance over the primitive humans. "This doesn't sound like peaceful cooperation between equals," Shaw noted as the recording ended. "It sounds like colonization." Admiral Chen spoke again from the view screen. "The Earth Defense Fleet is now in position. Captain Shaw, what is your assessment of the situation?" Shaw looked directly at the stunned Alliance officials. "The Alliance has shown their hand, Admiral. They were preparing to implement a protection treaty that would have granted them access to Earth's resources while offering minimal technological exchange." Counselor Zeth's metallic features shifted rapidly, attempting to regain composure. "There appears to have been a misunderstanding. The Alliance has always sought mutually beneficial relationships." "Then let's start over," Shaw suggested. "This time as equals with honest intentions." Several hours later, Captain Shaw sat across from Supreme Counselor Zeth and Commander Vrax in the diplomatic chamber, now joined by Admiral Chen via holographic projection. The atmosphere had shifted dramatically. "The human propulsion system is unlike anything in our database," one of the Alliance's technical advisors was explaining. "They've developed a unique approach to manipulating subspace that allows for greater efficiency and speed than our standard drives. And their defensive systems," another advisor added, "use a layered approach that our sensors initially couldn't properly classify. It's why we mistook them for primitive shields." Admiral Chen nodded. "Humanity has always believed in quality over quantity. Our fleet is smaller than the Alliance's combined forces, but our focus on innovation rather than standardization has served us well." "What truly interests me," Zeth said, his tone now respectful, "is why you chose this approach. Most species either showcase their military might immediately or genuinely lack advanced technology when we encounter them. Shaw exchanged glances with Admiral Chen before responding. Humanity's history is filled with examples of technologically superior civilizations encountering less advanced ones. The results were rarely beneficial for the latter. We learned from our mistakes and vowed not to repeat them as we ventured into space. We've encountered 17 other spacefaring civilizations before meeting the Alliance, Admiral Chen added. In each case, we initially presented ourselves as less advanced while observing their reactions and intentions. Those who approached us with genuine respect and fairness quickly learned our true capabilities and became valuable allies. Those with exploitation in mind. She let the sentence hang unfinished. Vrax's scales had paled to a subdued hue. I must acknowledge that our approach was presumptuous. The Alliance has become accustomed to guiding developing species. Guiding is a generous term for what your recordings revealed, Shaw said, though without rancor. But we're prepared to move forward constructively if the Alliance is. Zeth's metallic face formed what appeared to be a more genuine expression of consideration. Your demonstration has been illuminating. The Alliance Council will need to reevaluate our first contact protocols. Perhaps there is much we could learn from humanity's approach. We propose an equal exchange, Admiral Chen said. Technology, culture, scientific knowledge, shared freely between our civilizations. No protection treaties, no resource appropriation, just mutual respect and cooperation. Zeth and Vrax exchanged looks before the counselor responded. The Alliance accepts these terms. We would be honored to welcome humanity as full and equal members of the galactic community. As the meeting concluded and the delegates prepared to return to their respective vessels, Commander Vrax approached Captain Shaw privately. I must ask, he said, 4 eyes blinking in sequence, did you ever consider a more aggressive approach? With your technology, you could have demanded concessions rather than offering cooperation. Shaw shook her head. That would defeat the purpose of everything we believe in. Humanity doesn't want domination or special treatment, just equality and mutual respect. We hid our capabilities not to trick you but to see your true intentions. Vrax considered this a most unusual approach. Many species in the Alliance would have used such advantage differently. Perhaps that's why humanity needed to join the galactic community, Shaw replied, to offer a different perspective. As she returned to the Intrepid, Shaw looked out at the now visible human fleet alongside the Alliance vessels. The initial deception had given way to something more valuable, genuine understanding. The Alliance had learned that appearances could be deceiving, and humanity had secured its place among the stars not through force or submission, but through strategic wisdom and principled restraint. The small fleet they had laughed at had revealed not just advanced technology, but a more advanced way of thinking about power and relationships between civilizations. And that perhaps was humanity's greatest strength of all.